The Terran Concordat Council chamber echoed with murmurs and tension. A glowing star map hovered midair, showing the Trivarnian system pulsing red. Dozens of alien fleet icons, Zarn Dominion warships, crept across the screen like metal parasites. "They've broken the neutrality accords," said Counselor Reyes, voice clipped. "They're weeks ahead of any reinforcements. Trivar will fall." Admiral Greaves stood beside the projection, jaw tight. "They're not just invading a border colony. They're testing our resolve. We can't afford another war," snapped Counselor Deneuve, eyes darting. "Diplomacy must be the first move." "No," said Greaves flatly. "This isn't a negotiation. It's a provocation." Across the chamber, someone asked the question no one dared speak aloud. "Then what do we send?" Greaves looked up. "One ship." Gasps. Murmurs swelled into outrage. "One ship? Against 70? This is suicide." Greaves raised a hand. The chamber fell quiet. "Not just any ship." Captain Arya Voss stood in the command bridge of Oblivion's Edge, her silhouette framed by the black curve of Helios Prime's orbit. Below, the sunlit side of Earth's largest military drydock glinted like a steel halo. Around her, crew members moved with silent, precise efficiency. "Orders confirmed," said Lieutenant Rourke from the weapons console. "FTL window locked in. Destination Trivar 9. She nodded. "Helm, power us up. Quiet launch." Chief Keller's voice crackled through comms from engineering. "Dawn core reactor at 73%. We can hit 80 before we begin stressing the lattice. Keep it below 80. We're not punching holes in reality just yet." A faint tremor ran through the hull as the ship activated its gravitic drive. Oblivion's Edge stirred to life, sleek, matte black, utterly silent despite the power thrumming through its bones. It didn't resemble other Terran ships. There were no visible engines, no running lights, no nameplate on the hull. Just shadow and intent. Dr. Imani Yao stepped onto the bridge, her data pad pressed to her chest. "They're already calling this madness," she said. "One ship against a fleet?" Arya turned to her, voice calm. "We're not a ship. We're a message." Yao studied her for a moment. "You really believe this will work?" "No," Arya said. "I believe they'll remember it." In the command center of the XDS Ascendancy, flagship of the Dominion's third expansion armada, Arch-Strategist Velrak observed the incoming data stream with detached curiosity. Dozens of crimson icons hovered above the holographic table, each one a Zarn ship under his command. His lower eyes blinked in sequence. "One human vessel detected, inbound from Terran space. No escort." His subcommander, Yolsek, flicked his mandibles anxiously. "High Strategist, there are stories, rumors, of human warships operating alone." Velrak's upper lip curled. "Tales told to excuse cowardice. The Terrans trade in fear because they lack strength." Yolsek hesitated. "Still, should we not?" "No." Velrak turned sharply. "One ship. 70 of ours. The odds are offensive. Let this be a lesson burned into the stars." He turned to the fleet-wide comms. "Prepare formation Delta. We take Trivar in 5 cycles. Annihilate the human ship if it dares enter." The stars blurred around Oblivion's Edge as it slipped through the fold, faster than light but slower than thought. Arya stood alone in the observation deck, eyes locked on the pulsing engine core through reinforced glass. The Dawn core reactor wasn't entirely understood, not even by its creators. It wasn't fission or fusion or antimatter. It was something else, discovered by accident, exploited by necessity. Its energy distorted physics around it, enough that reality bent slightly wherever it operated. Keller's voice hummed in through the internal speaker. "We're 5 minutes from drop. Power stable. If the Zarn don't blink first, we'll blink them out. I want decoys deployed the moment we exit fold space," Arya said. "And Rourke?" "Ma'am?" he replied from the weapons nest above. "Show them what we are." They dropped into the Trivar system in absolute silence. The black curve of the planet hung below like a marble wrapped in clouds. Zarn warships glided through orbit, sleek, angular, and deadly. Some were already descending, ready to claim the mining colonies below. One Zarn ship, a cruiser on patrol, broke formation and turned toward the intruder. It never got the chance to transmit. Oblivion's edge blinked, vanished, then reappeared behind it, too fast for conventional sensors to track. A single crimson beam erupted from the ship's nose, thin, precise, and impossibly bright. The Zarn cruiser didn't explode. It simply disintegrated. Dusted into molecular ash in less than a second. Back on the Edge's bridge, Rourke leaned back. 1. Cloak and scatter, Arya ordered. Make us ghosts. In space, the human vessel vanished again. In its place, 12 identical energy signatures burst to life, each mimicking the original. They drifted apart, haunting the fleet from every direction. On the Ascendancy, Velrak's second-in-command clutched the railing. 1 strike. Total vaporization. No residual field signature. We couldn't trace it. Velrak didn't blink. Coincidence. Trickery. He opened a channel. Human vessel. This is High Strategist Velrak of the Zarn Dominion. Identify yourself. There was a moment of silence. Then came the reply. This is Captain Arya Voss, Terran Concordat. You were warned. Turn back. Velrak smiled. Do you honestly believe you intimidate us with one ship? You're not afraid yet, Arya said. But you will be. This ship wasn't built to survive you. It was built to outlive you. Then the line cut. Inside the human ship, systems realigned. Cloaks recharged. Mines armed themselves across the belt of nearby asteroids. Rourke grinned. He sounded nervous. He should be, Yao said quietly. Arya remained silent, watching the Zarn ships reposition, clumping closer together. She knew what would come next: bravado, overconfidence, predictable missteps. Oblivion's Edge hadn't been deployed to win a war. It had been sent to show the galaxy why humans only ever needed one. The Zarn Dominion fleet held position above Trivar 9, its warships aligned in a grid of precision and pride. From afar, it looked like order incarnate, hundreds of thousands of tons of metal humming with discipline. But inside their command decks, doubt had already begun to whisper. Velrak stood on the Ascendancy's bridge, studying the hollow projection before him. 71 ships. One missing. His cruiser, Clean Spike, had vanished from sensors without trace or signal. Not disabled. Not destroyed in combat. Erased. Have we retrieved anything from the last scout? He asked, voice flat. No, strategist, said Yelesike, antennae twitching. They disappeared from our tactical grid mid-sweep. No explosion. No signal decay. Like the space bent around them. Impossible, Velrak muttered. He turned his gaze toward the floating silhouette that still haunted the edge of Trivar's gravity well. One Terran vessel. No escorts. No allies. It hadn't fired again. That made it worse. Aboard Oblivion's Edge, the bridge lights dimmed to blood-red combat mode. Internal systems pulsed silently underfoot. Captain Arya Voss watched the readouts scroll across her personal display. 10 Zarn ships had repositioned, retreating from the asteroid field where they'd previously sent scouts. They're spooked, said Lieutenant Rourke, arms crossed. Pulling back to play defense. Arya didn't respond immediately. Her eyes were on a separate screen, one showing radiation blooms and field density changes in the belt. The mines had done their job. Good, she said finally. Let them retreat. Fear slows decisions. Keller's voice crackled in from engineering. Dawncore holding at 76%. Energy bleed nominal. But I still don't like cycling it up again without cooling the primary core. You'll like it even less if the Zarn start charging their kinetic rails, Arya replied. Keep it stable. No spikes. Copy. But you're running her like she's immortal. Just remember, she's still a ship. Arya's lips twitched. Not a smile. Something quieter. No, Keller. She's a reminder. Velrak observed the rearranged tactical readouts with narrowed eyes. The Terran ship was no longer visible. Yet the sensors showed 12 new signals, each mimicking the human vessel's gravitic and EM signature. All separated by hundreds of kilometers. "They're playing tricks," said Yelesike. "Ghost echoes. Drones." Velrak's mandibles clicked slowly. "Find the real one." "How?" Yelesike asked. "Their tech confuses our targeting arrays. Every echo reads as real. Then flush them out." He tapped a sequence into the console, ordering 10 warships to sweep through the nearby asteroid cluster. "And if we provoke more traps?" Yelesike asked quietly. Velrak didn't answer. Oblivion's edge stirred. Inside the asteroid belt, cloaked relay pods began transmitting false sensor pulses, each designed to appear identical to a full human battleship's signature. The Zarn ships closed in, tense, cautious. "Detonation range achieved," Rourke confirmed. "Release sequence," Arya said. In the dark, the asteroids came to life. Dozens of mines detonated in sequence, not with fire, but electromagnetic fury. Gravitic pulses twisted the field. Debris accelerated unnaturally, ripping into Zarn hulls at impossible angles. Shields overloaded. One ship spun into a rock the size of a city block and exploded in silence. The rest scrambled. Yao glanced up from her console. "They didn't expect orbital gravity to fight back." "They never do," Arya replied. She leaned forward, watching the chaos unfold. Their precision shattered. Their lines broken. She opened a channel, shortwave, unencrypted, just loud enough to sting. "To the Zarn fleet, you should have listened. One ship. One warning." Then she cut the signal. On the Ascendancy, Velrak's jaw clenched. 10 ships lost, disabled, or scattered. Not by an army. Not by missiles. But by anticipation. By preparation. By understanding. He slammed a claw into the command table. "She's using predictive modeling. Mapping our approach before we make it. Adapting in real time." Yolesike spoke carefully. "If her ship is as advanced as they claim, she could be reacting to our microdrives before our NAV systems even process changes." Velrak ignored him. "Enough games." He ordered a full formation shift, centralizing the command group, flanking with destroyers, and assigning 8 interceptors to independently search for the Edge's real location. "They rely on ghosts. Let's drown them in fire." Rourke scoffed as he watched the Zarn ships scramble across the starfield. "They're searching blind." "They won't stay blind," Arya said. "We need to escalate. Prepare the lance." Keller's voice came over the intercom, uneasy. "Firing that again at full charge will spike the core. I need time to stabilize heat routing." "How long?" 2 minutes. "Take 1. Rourke angled his console, targeting the lead Zarn dreadnought. The spinal lance began its charge, crimson filaments glowing through the ship's underbelly like veins beneath skin. Yao glanced sideways. "You realize if we fire again, we break the illusion. They'll know which one is real." "They already know," Arya said. "But by the time they believe, it'll be too late." Velrak's scanners flared with sudden power discharge, one signal, brighter than all the rest. The Edge had revealed itself. "Target acquired," a helmsman barked. "All fire on that vector!" Velrak shouted. It was too late. The crimson lance erupted again, cutting clean through a Zarn battlecruiser mid-turn. The beam sheared hull, armor, reactors, and personnel in a blink. The ship folded in on itself, its own gravitational drives imploding under the force. Then the Edge disappeared once more. Velrak stared at the smoldering wreckage on the screen. His voice was low now. "How?" Yolesike looked at him, voice subdued. "They built a ship around a weapon. We built weapons around ships." Back on Oblivion's Edge, systems cooled. The Dawn core reactor pulsed steady but agitated. "Keller?" Arya asked. "She's still holding, but that last shot fried 3 relays and kicked off a quantum flare in the lower core. We do that again, We'll start screaming across half the sector. Then we won't do it again, she said. Unless we have to. Yao folded her arms. This is psychological warfare now. They're not afraid of the ship. They're afraid they don't understand it. Exactly, Arya replied. And soon they'll stop trying. Velrak stood alone in his observation deck. His fleet was fractured. The enemy hadn't spoken again. Hadn't made demands. Hadn't issued ultimatums. They just watched. And struck. And vanished. He understood something now. Not entirely. But enough. The Terran warning hadn't been a bluff. It was a courtesy. Velrak stood silent at the center of the Ascendancy's bridge, jaw clenched, mandibles rigid. Behind him, holograms displayed a fraying fleet, 24 ships lost or disabled, dozens damaged, the rest shaken. No external force had ever unraveled his armada this quickly. No siege. No fleet battle. Just one Terran ship. And yet, it remained invisible. What are they waiting for? He muttered. Yolesik hesitated. They've made their point. But they haven't delivered the message. Velrak narrowed his gaze. Then we forced their hand. On board Oblivion's Edge, the Dawncore reactor pulsed with faint instability. Warning indicators glowed amber across Keller's console in engineering. I'm telling you, if we push the core past 80, it'll breach the feedback threshold. We're in nullback territory. Arya Voss stood behind him, hands clasped behind her back, unreadable. We can't wait them out forever. They're adapting. Dr. Yao joined them. They're not thinking clearly. The fear's grown roots, but panic is close behind. That's when mistakes happen. Arya nodded. Then it's time we give them one. She turned to comms. Activate Echo Protocol. Prep Phase Distortion Array. Keller stared. You want to run Echo now? You realize. I know exactly what it does. He swallowed hard. It'll split our ship's field signature across 6-dimensional planes. We'll appear in multiple positions simultaneously. But it'll drag the core into instability. That's the price, she said. Now do it. Across the Zarn fleet, sensors exploded into chaos. Dozens of Oblivion's Edge readings lit up across the field, each matching mass, energy, EM, even gravitic signature. None of them faded. None flickered. They moved erratically, in unpredictable vectors, surrounding the command core of Velrak's fleet like a noose tightening with no hands. One ship fired on a target, hit nothing. Another opened up on an echo and destroyed its own flanking cruiser. Confusion rippled like a virus through their systems. On the Ascendancy, Velrak barked orders, but the damage was done. Coordination had collapsed. They've created a dimensional smear. Yolesik whispered, pale. We can't distinguish real from false. We're firing at shadows, and hitting each other. Velrak slammed a fist into the command rail. Enough! Full shield dispersal, all ships spread. Clear the field! But the moment he gave the order, the true Oblivion's Edge decloaked. And it was right there. Arya's voice was steady, calm, almost soft. Lock weapons on the Ascendancy. Rourke didn't hesitate. Target locked. Dreadnought-class shielding active, but strain readings suggest power diverted to ECM. We can punch through. Dawncore status? She asked. Keller responded grimly. 91%. She's going to blow if we don't shut down after this. Arya gave a single nod. Then we end it now. Dr. Yao stood silently beside her. You don't need to do this. I do, Arya replied. Because they still think we're here to win. She opened a direct channel to the Ascendancy. Velrak stared at the comms screen as Arya appeared, framed in crimson emergency lighting, eyes hard, face calm. I warned you, she said. Not to provoke us. Not to test us. Not to come here. Velrak snarled. You think one ship makes you gods? Arya tilted her head. You still don't get it. She paused. This ship wasn't built to defeat your fleet. It was built so your next strategist wouldn't dare gather one. Velrak lunged for the console. I'll burn you down before you fire. Arya said nothing. She simply closed the channel. The lance beam erupted, one final time. Pure, uninterrupted, burning white. It struck the Ascendancy dead center, overloading shields in a blink, collapsing the ship's command spine, rupturing its core like a glass bubble. A second later, the dreadnought folded in on itself, consumed not just by energy but by gravity tearing loose from the inside. The Dominion flagship was gone. Just like that. No signal. No escape. No legacy. Gone. Keller screamed into comms, hands flying across controls. Core is surging. We're past red line. The ship trembled as the reactor buckled under its own pressure. Systems shorted. Gravity flickered. Bulkheads groaned. Aria's voice cut through. Dump power. All of it. Vent the core. Now. Keller complied, rerouting energy through emergency conduits. Plasma vented across the outer hull. Radiant light burst from the ship's undercarriage, scorching space with raw heat. Slowly, the tremors began to ease. The ship didn't break. But it came close. She held, Keller said, slumping. Barely. The battlefield was silent. The Zarn fleet, what remained, scattered. No orders. No command. No structure. Some powered down weapons and drifted. Others jumped away without coordinates. A few ejected escape pods without being fired upon. Oblivion's edge did not pursue. It hovered in place, scarred and dark, the glow of its core fading slowly into a dull red heartbeat. Rourke broke the silence. So that's it? Arya exhaled. They know now. Yao looked at her. Was it worth it? I don't care if it was, Arya replied. They'll remember. 3 days later, the message reached Earth. A single transmission. Trivar secure. Objective complete. One ship. One warning. At the Concordat assembly, no one spoke. No vote was called. There was nothing to discuss. The silence meant something now. In the far corners of the galaxy, Zarn officers whispered to each other in hushed tones. Not about tactics. Not about fleets. Not even about the Terrans. They spoke of the ship. The one that didn't fight fair. That didn't follow doctrine. That didn't ask for mercy or give it. A Terran ship with no nameplate. No escort. And no hesitation. And from that day forward, new command manuals across the outer sectors bore a single page in bold. If you see a Terran ship operating alone, you run.